As you can see, we have we have couches now. Something we didn't have before. Remember that? So now we have couches. Welcome back to another episode of I don't know what the fuck I'm doing tactically in this game known as Doorkickers. Uh, it's a map that I've been playing it so much that I've it actually made me stop playing the game. And then when I got back to it, I didn't touch this map until recently. All right, but off and on, I've been doing it for almost a year. This is the only map that has made me do this like that. Like, oh my god, it is a bitch. Okay, so I want you guys to see it, but in the spirit of keeping everything within 30 minutes, what I'm going to do is I am gonna bypass my execution phase of the video and I'm only gonna show you guys the replay. However, it's gonna have commentary. So hopefully you can tie the dots to my madness as I'm trying to explain my logic. Microphone is still shit, and I want you guys to help me out on this one. What is a good microphone that you guys have used yourselves or that you've heard of that is, well, a good microphone? Um, I want to make this experience a little bit better, and I think audio as well as video is a contributing factor to keeping people a little bit more entertained. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys. We're going to start off with the assessment, of course, the strategy behind it, and the loadout. And then we're going to hop on over to just the replay. Hopefully, we keep everything very compartmentalized or condensed. Fuck. This is why I pay a shrink to teach me how to talk. Alright, y'all. See, the name of the map is called In Enemy Territory, and this predates the QRF update. This is exactly what's going on. We have we have troops in contact, and we're responding accordingly. I've already pretty much this is all kind of like a preset of how I structured my approach with my units as well as my loadout's already taken care of. So let's just focus on the map, which is a huge chunk of this time right now that we're going to take. And right out the back, what I want to do is I want to divide this map into something like this. One section, two sections, and three sections, okay? Because this is kind of like three or four maps roll into one. I like to, as I said earlier, compartmentalize everything. It makes things a little bit easier for me. But let's look at this part. So phase one, we're looking at one, two, three dwellings with some alleyways in between them. Not so much backyards, but I guess this is a community backyard. I guess. I guess. We're also looking at another dwelling up north where there is a VIP, and we got two streets, one in the north and one in the south, and we have a Black Hawk down. Huh. No pun intended. We have another bird on the deck that's still intact, which also this is where the LZ is. I mean the exfil site is. We have sniper overwatch, which is why we can see this guy over here. And as it does seem like I'm all over the place, but in the middle we have a restaurant, the biggest building of the map, and we have the VIP right there being held against his will by this grunt insurgent, and we have a warehouse. Now this is where they load up, you know, all the produce or whatever as they're going to bring it in to the kitchen area and then distribute it out to the patrons out here. Moving further out, we see kind of a courtyard, outdoor patio for other patrons to enjoy the outdoors and all the chaos that you can see. Smoke breaks. We have the shitters right next to the kitchen. We have a lot of MACVs, two of them that are on fire here and here. Vehicles with doors that have been opened. As you can see, machine gun emplacements or just hardened positions from the enemy here. Pretty much this whole area right there. Uh, and then one right here. Addition to, we have additional dwellings here, and we have another VIP towards the east, right? Okay, we kick off at the south end of the map, and there's no two ways about it. This is the only part you get. We don't get to spawn up here, and that taught me something. That told me that that area is probably hot as all hell. So, I mean, it would make sense, right? Because I mean, look at all this shit. It's already on fire. It's engulfed. This part looks like there's all kinds of hell going on, and I'm seeing that the common denominator are these sandbag emplacements. Everywhere there's a sandbag, there's fire. As it's true of this place as well. So I automatically assumed that this space up here is owned by the enemy. This space here is owned by us. So my strategy was the following. I'm not going to go around this whole area to pull it off. So I have to go through this area. And to do that, I want to render this area safe. So these three dwellings have to be kind of cleared, maybe selectively, just to the point where we feel safe in our in a bubble that we establish, where we can launch an attack into this building and into this building. Simultaneously, I've detached a team to and go in this direction through the back alley and coming in contact with this building so that we can punch a hole, grab our guy, and bring him back the way we came from. We're trying to avoid these streets as much as possible. And then I provided a detachment of grenadier and sniper cover, as well as a marksman, which is I guess the same shit. So a DM, a grenadier, and a overwatch position right here, so that we can keep an eye on this street. And the reason being is, as we're shooting them from here, from this side, then they're attracted to come to this side, while we're able to come around from this side, and hopefully they'll never be the wiser. In the event that they still want to come across because they spotted us and we've been made, then we can still see what's going on via the marksman and the grenadier. Once we have possession of that VIP, we're going to come across, and by cover of fire or smoke, we're going to go all the way, and we're going to designate this a staging area for the VIPs. Once we're done with him, we're then going to focus our approach to this guy and bring him around, again covered by smoke and or by fire, bring him around to this position and stage him again. And then moving again to the third one, we're going to breach through right here using a wall shot, and then breach again using a wall shot, and then come in, take position of this guy, eliminate any threats that may be in this vicinity, and bring them around that way. And then everybody just goes home and has some beer. So that's kind of the whole thing. I'm not gonna get too like tactical. There's clearly gonna be mistakes made, and I want you guys to point those mistakes out for me whenever you see them, because I want to make this better than the last one, and so on and so forth, right? Loadout. This one I'm going to keep it very simple and repetitive. All my assaults carry the same loadout. Mark 18 suppress with a EO tech and a sauce ball. Level 4 armor, smoke, and wall breaches are what we want. No nods on this one, by the way. Grenades are just secondary, but we definitely need the wall charge, and we definitely need smoke. So the order of priority is smoke first, wall shot, flashbangs, and then grenades, I think. If not, it's grenades then flashbangs. But because there's a lot of civilians, you definitely want to be careful with those explosives, right? Okay, that's for the assaults. Support. I decided to treat myself to a Mark 48 suppressed with a dual roll optic and lots of smoke again. Everything else is the same. Lots of smoke, and that's for both of them. Same thing for the marksman. Lots of smoke, lots of smoke, lots of smoke. M92, I don't know why. It's not even suppressed, but whatever. And a M14 for both of them. And I think it's a, what do we got? Okay, the 3-day, whatever. I'm not big on optics. And for the grenadiers, I want them to switch roles. So I created so this platform here that I put together was suppressed, of course, with the dual role optics, because I want them near as well as somewhat far, but also with a Mark 18 so they can kind of stay close and not be too snagged up on those corridors that we have. Everything else is the same, flashbangs and now smoke. So again, when in doubt, use smoke. So just keep that in mind. Alright, so without further ado, let's go ahead and fire up the replay, and I'll be doing a lot of the talking. One thing to note, I'm going to secure everything, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to slow things down whenever I need it slowing down so I can explain a few things. Let's go on forward, and let's bring up the volume just a little bit so you guys can make sense of what's going on. So as you can see, we're establishing good effects on our east side right here. We got these grenadier and the marksman just laying some hate in this area while we're making our maneuvers towards this house, right? I'm putting long security with an injured marksman over here and a machine gunner holding security on our rear, while the grenadier and 2 assaulters start jumping. Make that 3 assaulters and 1 grenadier. At the same time, we are clearing these houses as much as we can so that, sorry, it's my cat, so that we can establish a nice foothold over here, right, on the map. You can hear the audibles of all the spawn points. So there's a spawn point right there, and I believe there's spawn points in these houses. So we keep that in mind. Let's focus in on these guys since they're going to make the initial extraction. And also there was a lot of flagging going on between these guys. I didn't like it one bit, but we didn't have a choice. Okay, that noise that you hear to the west is the machine gun fire, and the reason we're doing that is for the same reason that this guy was pointing that way. I want to keep them distracted on this area or towards the south as much as possible. Breaking contact from a rear. At the same time, we're peppering it with the grenadier on this side with a 40 Mike. And now we're making our approach to this guy. So let's focus in on this guy here. Pop and smoke. And we're allowing the situation to develop because I want to see if there's more people passing by or not. Now that we determine no, we're gonna pop smoke and start laying some hate. You can see the blood spatter here. That means there's people there. Okay, let's focus in on the assault. I guess we just let the situation develop again. Now, you must understand, I'm going from here to here to here, so I'm going back and forth a lot of times. So much so that we're already on this side. So these guys are establishing cover, positions of cover, whether it's or concealment, while we're gonna start hightailing it all the way across to this side. And that's what's going on right here. So they're getting hit hard. So I'm gonna retire them while this other grenadier moves into position to this area and starts putting in some hate in this direction. What the machine gunner is doing here is just impeding the path furthermore while we're peppering it with grenades as well as smoke. Okay, so that these guys over here can move about freely without worrying too much about the threats that emerge from this point. But we had to maintain vigilance because some of them still managed to slip through the cracks. Let's go ahead and speed it up. Those were good effects. Okay, in case you guys missed it, I'm gonna pause it here. In case you guys missed it, I had to swap my unit, this unit for that unit, because he just got ambushed like right in his fucking face, point blank. And I didn't want him taking too much of the shot, so I swapped him out and put the other unit in front of him so that he can render some protection. It almost got him killed, and if that would have been, if the VIP would have been killed, it wouldn't have been mission failure. But damn it, I would have just start it all over again because I did that for 70 fucking times. I think this is mission 73 or mission attempt 73 to date. So Mitch 406, the designer of this map, bravo, man. This map kicked my ass, bro. Good on you. Okay. We're going to be holding them in a position of relative safety for the time being, with the attempt of bringing them over here to this shitter. Okay. And look, nobody's holding security in this direction. What the fuck? Oh, okay, there he goes. Alright. These guys are holding security long now. At this point, since everybody's kind of back together, what I started doing is I started to take roll of in triaging to see who was injured, who was not, and so that I can put together another assault force or assault team so that they can finally work on the final guy that needed to get worked on here, right? And so I'm taking roll. I'm redistributing my units accordingly and putting them in positions of lesser risk, and swapping them out for guys that can take a more direct hit from the enemy. And that's what all this moving around is all about. I'm dispatching an assaulter as well as the marksman, the guys that were all the way to the east. Now they're all the way to the west, holding security long in this direction, so that they can keep an eye and offer some protection to the VIPs. At the same time, now that we made a breach, I'm creating a distraction by creating noise and mayhem in this direction, so that these guys can start working on this side. Again, creating a L shape, right? Or an L shape this way. That sniper goes to work on this game. Just keep that in mind. He's always popping rounds. I think he had to reload 2 or 3 times. I'm not too sure. Let's bring it like that so you can see this area as well. So it's kind of like uncorking, right? I'm uncorking the bottom part of this building so that the enemy can flow in that direction towards that sound, while those guys are going to work on that wall, and thus dividing the forces up a little bit. Now, something that kicked my ass later, and you'll see, is that I started using this guy too much, and it bit me in the ass. I'm gonna show you in a bit. Okay. So the reason this is not working out too well right now is for this reason. This grenade was thrown because this door was open, and now they're flowing in, completely circumventing that pinch point over there. Good effects, good effects. And of course, it goes without saying it, but some smokescreen does a trick a lot. So now they're off the X, and now we got all 3 accounted for. So now I'm going to start pulling my units and converging them to this area here, right there, pulling them all back, and they're going to all find work and just keep an eye on things towards the outside, safeguarding the LZ here, right? We're going to use a lot of smoke and a lot of machine gun fire. I'm going to continue collapsing on my perimeter, and I'm going to bring these guys just short of the LZ so that I can continue with my collapsing. Now that's just for theatrics, but normally you'd run towards it while people are covering your rear. And then in the end, just for added For added effect, I just pop smoke on the LZ so that it looks like they vanished into the smoke. All in all, it took 8 minutes and 32 seconds. We killed 141 units, but that's just because the spawn points just keep coming, man, non-stop. And this is my best personal record on this map. Let's look at small details real quick. More than half of my squad, this is almost platoon size, got injured in one way or another. Two of them were redlining, I think, maybe even three. No, just two. And some of them had shitty accuracy. Mainly the machine gunners, they had crap for accuracy. Uh, because, well, I just had them spraying and praying the entire time. They every once in a while got one or two, but like this guy only killed like two, and he was a machine gunner, and he spent 700 rounds. The 600 round guy over here, he only killed one. Damn. All right. um, yeah. So let's see, who's the guy who killed the most? I think it's 22, and it was by level. The marksman that was at the south. So let's look at the map. The marksman that I had over here was the guy who, I mean, just really just swaylaid all these guys. The grenadier hit one or two every once in a while, but that marksman was instrumental in keeping the guys over here safe because they were just drawing towards his gunfire. They were more focused on that threat than us not really being so much of a threat. We were, well, this side was a really good force, but they weren't engaging as much. They were just trying to get by through these alleys or past these alleys just to punch that hole and get the guy. Once that kicked off, of course, it drew the attention because of the blast, yes, but they weren't there to kill people. They were just there to rescue one guy. Um, Troubled spots, just want to say, is right here. So you want to pop smoke here. There's not so much activity going on in this direction, but another choke point is right here. You can pop smoke from, or set off a defense position with a machine gunner. Keep in mind though that if you do that, you do risk being exposed to all of this right here, and this is a major spawn point. There's a lot of spawn points, but I just deemed this whole thing spawn point land, right? So, and then people shooting from cover. You just when the smoke clears, you don't want to be caught still like shooting indiscriminately. You can keep their heads down, but it doesn't always work, and you'll be eventually overrun and killed. It's happened a lot to me here. So I just played it safe and kept it here. Another thing to note is this right there. Do not pop, if you're going to do it this way, do not blow that thing up anytime soon until you're ready to commit to rescuing this guy. Reason being is for that same reason that I was telling you guys that it blew up in my face right here, is that it started shooting the rounds and then this gate swings open, and then everything that was going to go in this direction is now circumventing this ambush point and coming into here or here, and then you get flanked. Alright, so keep things like Thermopylae, make sure your flanks aren't exposed too much, and you should be fine. Ultimately, I kept all three of them still in the game until the end of the game because I wanted to have more skin in the game, and well, it's just it was an incentive for me to make sure that I'm always like on my toes about this game. But one thing to do that you do want to keep note is that I didn't use all my available units, like readily available, that I could deploy. I used only 14 units, and I kept doing that because I know that I could add more, but I didn't because I initiated my strategy the first time around with just 14 guys. I come then to realize that you can use a hell of a lot more. This map is designed for multiplayer role according to Mitch 406, the designer of this map. So if you can do it single-handedly, man, big up to you. It took me almost a year, so 11 months to date. If you can get the 3 stars, I want to know how you did it. And if you did it in less than a year, I definitely want to know how you did it. Any other approaches that you guys took to get this map taken care of, drop them in the comments below. I want to know. I'm curious. And all you tactically savvy people in the from the military community, as well as all the fanboys like myself, let me know where I fucked up, which is there's a lot where I could have improved upon so that we can have a better understanding. I'm gonna leave it like that, and I will see you guys on the next one. Man, that's a rough one. So, peace.